Liam stepped out of the shuttle and felt the warm, gentle breeze brush against his face. The resort stretched before him like a secret hidden in the middle of the ocean. White buildings gleamed under the afternoon sun, and pathways lined with tropical flowers led to a large pool that seemed to float above the water. But it wasn't an ordinary pool. Its floor was made of thick, transparent glass, and below it, the ocean teemed with vibrant life. Liam had seen pictures online, but nothing prepared him for the breathtaking reality. He dragged his suitcase along the path, careful not to stumble on the smooth stones, and stopped near the edge of the pool. The sunlight reflected off the water in sparkling patterns, dancing like tiny stars. He crouched slightly, pressing his hand on the cool glass, and gazed into the underwater world beneath him. Schools of brightly colored fish swam lazily among coral formations that glowed faintly in the sunlight. Liam's heart skipped a beat. The beauty of it all made him forget the long hours he had spent in his workshop, the endless deadlines, and the constant noise of the city. Here, it felt like time itself had slowed down. As he stood there, taking it all in, he noticed someone else near the pool. A young woman knelt at the edge, holding a small notebook, her eyes carefully studying the life beneath the glass. She wore simple clothing and her hair was tied back in a loose braid, but there was something about the way she moved focused, gentle, and yet full of quiet confidence that caught Liam's attention. She seemed entirely absorbed in the world under the water, completely unaware of the sun shining on her face. Liam hesitated for a moment, unsure if he should interrupt her. But something in her expression invited curiosity rather than disturbance. He stepped closer and cleared his throat softly. "Hi," he said. "I'm Liam. I couldn't help but notice, are you studying the pool?" The woman looked up, her eyes bright and alert, and gave a small, polite smile. "Hello. I'm Mara," she replied. "I'm studying the marine life here. There's a lot happening beneath the glass. Some species are rare, and I like to make notes about their behavior." She held up her notebook briefly before returning her gaze to the pool. "It's fascinating." Liam nodded, feeling a sudden interest that went beyond the pool itself. "It really is," he said. "I work with machines and structures, but I've always loved watching life in the water. It's calming, in a way." Mara glanced at him, her curiosity piqued. "Machines and water don't usually mix," she said lightly, "but I can see how someone like you would appreciate the engineering behind this pool. It's designed to handle pressure and movement while giving people a clear view of everything below." "Impressive, really." Liam smiled, a bit surprised that she noticed the detail. "Yes, it is. I've worked on some similar projects, but this is different. Seeing life below, feeling like you're floating above another world, it's inspiring." He leaned slightly on the edge, careful not to step too close. "Do you visit often to study it?" "Whenever I can," Mara replied. "The ocean is full of surprises, and the pool lets me observe things safely. Some fish only come here for a short time. Others are shy and hide in corners. It's a small world, but full of life. You have to look carefully to notice it all." Liam felt a warmth in his chest, a combination of admiration for Mara's dedication and a quiet thrill of meeting someone who shared his sense of wonder. "I'd love to see some of the creatures up close, but I'm not sure how much I can learn in one visit," he said with a laugh. Mara laughed softly, the sound like a gentle ripple across the water. "You might be surprised. Sometimes just watching is enough. You see patterns, movements, little interactions you never expected. And sometimes," she added, her eyes meeting his, you meet people who make you notice more than just the fish. Liam's heart skipped another beat. He nodded, unsure what to say, but knowing he wanted to keep talking. I guess I'm glad I met you, then. Mara smiled, closing her notebook carefully. I'm glad too. She stood and gestured toward the edge of the pool. If you have time, you can join me tomorrow. I'll show you some of the interesting spots and maybe some hidden corners where the fish like to play. Liam's eyes lit up. I'd like that very much. As the sun began to dip toward the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, Liam took one last look at the glass-bottom pool. The water shimmered like a mirror, reflecting not only the sky above but also the spark of curiosity and connection that had just begun between him and Mara. He felt a strange, exciting sense that this vacation, this pool, and this meeting might be the start of something unforgettable. The next morning, Liam woke to the soft sound of waves brushing against the shore. Sunlight streamed through his window, casting patterns on the floor. He dressed quickly, eager to explore the resort and, more importantly, to see Mara again. The thought of spending the day near the glass-bottom pool with her made his heart beat faster. He told himself it was curiosity about the pool, but deep down, he knew he was drawn to Mara. By the time he reached the pool, Mara was already there, kneeling near the edge with her notebook. The sunlight glimmered on her hair, and Liam couldn't help but pause for a moment, just watching. Mara noticed him and waved. Good morning, Liam. Ready to see the underwater world, she called out with a cheerful smile. Absolutely, Liam replied, feeling a rush of excitement. He approached carefully, making sure not to disturb her observations. What's special about today's visit? He asked, genuinely curious. Mara pointed to a small cluster of coral under the glass. Some rare fish come here only at this time of year. I've been waiting to see them. They're small, colorful, and very shy. If we're patient, we might spot them. She closed her notebook and gestured for him to sit beside her. Here, you'll have a better view. Liam crouched next to her, leaning slightly on the edge. The pool's surface reflected the sunlight, making the water sparkle like diamonds. Below, fish swam gracefully, darting through the coral formations. Liam marveled at their movements, noticing patterns he had never seen before. Mara watched him carefully, a small smile playing on her lips. You're noticing more than most, she said softly. You see the details, the way they move together, the tiny interactions. He turned to her, impressed that she could tell. I guess engineers are trained to notice patterns, he said lightly, but I think this is different. These patterns, they feel alive. Mara's eyes sparkled. Yes, exactly. Everything here is connected, even the smallest creatures. You just need to take the time to watch. She pointed to a tiny, orange fish hiding behind a coral branch. See that one? It's very cautious. It only comes out when it feels safe. That's why I take notes so I can understand their behavior better. Liam leaned closer to the glass, studying the fish. It's amazing how something so small can be so careful, he said. It makes me think about people in a way, how we protect ourselves, how we choose when to reveal our true selves. Mara looked at him thoughtfully, her eyes softening. I never thought about it like that. But yes, it's true. Observing life makes you understand life, in all its forms. She paused, then added quietly, sometimes, it even teaches you about trust. You have to wait for it, and you have to respect it. Liam felt a warmth in his chest at her words. There was something comforting about the way Mara spoke, gentle yet thoughtful. "I think I'd like to learn more from you," he admitted. "Not just about the fish, but about seeing the world differently." Mara smiled warmly. "I'd be happy to show you. Observation is about patience, yes, but also about noticing beauty where others might not. You seem like someone who can appreciate that." For the next hour, they sat together at the pool, pointing out tiny creatures and marveling at the underwater world. Liam asked questions about the fish, the coral, and the tiny crabs scuttling across the sandy bottom. Mara explained patiently, making the experience exciting and easy to understand. Liam found himself not only learning about marine life but also enjoying her company more than he expected. Every glance, every small laugh, made him feel connected in a way he hadn't felt before. At one point, a school of small fish swirled together like a living cloud beneath the glass. Liam leaned closer, pressing his hand on the pool's edge. Mara did the same, their hands nearly touching over the glass. A quiet electricity passed between them, gentle but undeniable. Neither said anything, but they both felt it, the sense that something significant was beginning, a bond that went beyond curiosity or casual conversation. Finally, Mara stood and stretched. "We should take a break before lunch," she said. "There's a small cafe near the pool. You can tell me about your engineering projects while we eat. I'm curious what excites you as much as this pool excites me." Liam grinned. "I'd like that very much." He followed her along the pathway, feeling lighter than he had in months. The pool sparkled behind them, full of life and color, but Liam realized that the real wonder wasn't just beneath the glass, it was beside him, in Mara's company, in the shared curiosity and the quiet connection forming between them. As they walked, the sunlight danced on the water, reflecting onto their faces. Liam felt a sense of anticipation, knowing that this day, like the pool itself, might be the beginning of something extraordinary. That afternoon, Liam returned to the glass-bottom pool, feeling a mixture of excitement and calm. Mara was already there, kneeling near the edge as she traced the movement of a tiny seahorse with her finger on the glass. Liam approached quietly, not wanting to disturb her, but she noticed him immediately and smiled. "Good afternoon, Liam," she said softly. "I think today might be interesting. I saw something unusual earlier." "What did you see?" Liam asked, leaning over the edge to peer into the water. Mara pointed to a section near a coral outcrop. "A small, bright-colored fish. It doesn't usually come here. It might be exploring, or it could be looking for food. Either way, it's rare. If we watch carefully, we might learn something new." Liam felt a thrill. This was exactly the kind of unexpected discovery he loved. "Let's watch together," he said. For the next few minutes, they observed in silence, pointing out the subtle movements of the fish and other creatures. Liam found himself leaning closer to Mara, noticing the way her eyes sparkled when she spotted something interesting. There was a gentle focus in her movements, a quiet passion that made him feel both admiration and a growing connection he couldn't quite describe. Suddenly, a small equipment device, part of Mara's observation tools, slipped from the pool's edge and fell into the water with a soft splash. Both of them jumped back instinctively. The device floated near a cluster of coral, out of easy reach. "I can get it," Liam said immediately, kneeling closer to the glass. Mara shook her head. "No, it's too delicate. It could scare the fish or damage the coral. We need to be careful." She bit her lip, thinking quickly. "Maybe we can work together. I'll guide you." Liam nodded. "Okay, tell me what to do." Mara moved carefully along the edge and pointed to a spot where the glass panel seemed sturdier. If you reach here and gently slide the net under it, we can lift it slowly. Move slowly, no sudden movements. They leaned over the pool together, their hands almost touching as they extended toward the floating device. Liam held the net while Mara guided it, her fingers brushing against his occasionally, sending a small, surprising spark through him. The water below shimmered, the sunlight catching the ripples and reflecting on their faces. After a few tense moments, they managed to secure the device. Liam lifted it carefully, and Mara guided it onto the pool's edge. Both of them let out relieved laughs, feeling the tension dissolve. That was teamwork, Mara said, smiling. You were careful, but also brave. Not everyone would manage this without panic. Liam grinned, feeling pride and warmth. I couldn't have done it without your guidance. You know this place so well. They paused for a moment, looking into the water. The rare fish they had been observing swam calmly near the coral, as if nothing had happened. Liam noticed the way Mara's eyes followed its movements, her expression gentle and focused. I like watching you, he said quietly. You make even small things feel important. Mara glanced at him, a faint blush on her cheeks. And I like watching you, she replied. You notice things most people wouldn't. You're careful, but excited at the same time. For a few minutes, they stood silently, side by side, enjoying the calm of the pool. The sunlight reflected through the glass and painted golden patterns on the water and on their faces. Liam felt a sense of closeness he hadn't expected, a connection that went beyond curiosity or fascination with the pool. Finally, Mara straightened and shook her head lightly, laughing. We should take a break before we both get too soaked, she said. I think the fish will forgive us. Liam laughed as well, feeling lighter than he had in months. Agreed. But I have to admit, I enjoyed this adventure. And I think I'd enjoy more adventures with you. Mara's eyes softened. I think I'd like that too, she said. There's a lot to see here, and I like seeing it with someone who cares about it as much as I do. As they walked toward the lounge area, the pool shimmered behind them, full of life, yet reflecting the start of something new between them. Liam realized that the glass-bottom pool wasn't just a place to observe marine life, it had become a space where trust, teamwork, and the first sparks of something deeper could grow. He felt an unexpected thrill, knowing that this was just the beginning of a connection that neither he nor Mara fully understood yet, but both were eager to explore. As evening approached, the sky above the resort began to change, turning soft shades of orange, pink, and gold. Liam walked toward the glass-bottom pool, feeling a sense of calm excitement. The warm light reflected off the water, making it shimmer like liquid fire. Mara was already there, standing near the edge and watching the tiny fish below with quiet concentration. The sight of her, bathed in the gentle sunset, made Liam's heart beat faster. Hi, Mara, he called softly. She turned, smiling, and waved him over. Hello, Liam, she replied. The sunset makes everything feel magical, doesn't it? It really does, he said, stepping closer. The pool, the colors, it's amazing. And somehow, it feels more special when you're here. Mara tilted her head slightly, her smile softening. I'm glad you feel that. Sometimes, it's hard to explain why certain moments feel different, but you seem to understand. They stood side by side at the edge of the pool, watching the sunlight filter through the water and illuminate the tiny fish swimming beneath the glass. Liam noticed the delicate movements of the creatures and the way Mara's eyes followed them with careful attention. He felt a quiet admiration for her, not just for her knowledge, but for the way she noticed the world's smallest details. After a few moments of silence, Liam spoke again, his voice low but steady. "Mara, I've enjoyed spending time with you these past days. More than I expected. I feel something I haven't felt in a long time." Mara looked at him, her expression gentle and thoughtful. "I know what you mean," she said softly. "I feel it too. Being here, watching the pool, exploring life beneath the glass, it's better because we're sharing it. But it feels different from just friendship." Liam's heart skipped a beat. "Yes, that's exactly it. It's more than friendship. I I think I'm starting to care about you, in a way that matters." He hesitated, searching her eyes for a reaction. "I don't want to rush anything, but I wanted you to know." Mara's smile grew warmer. "I'm glad you said that. I care about you too, Liam. Being around you feels natural, comfortable, exciting, even." They stood in silence for a moment, their hands almost touching over the edge of the pool. Liam felt a gentle electricity, not overwhelming, but present, a connection that seemed to flow between them. The light from the sunset reflected on their faces, creating a soft glow that made everything feel almost dreamlike. "You know," Mara said quietly, "there's something about this pool, about the glass separating us from the ocean below, but still letting us see it, that reminds me of how life works. You have to be patient, observant, and gentle. And sometimes, you find something wonderful, something unexpected." Liam nodded, feeling the truth of her words. "I think meeting you was unexpected, and wonderful," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. Mara looked at him, her eyes meeting his, and for a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. Liam reached slowly, letting his hand brush hers over the glass. Neither pulled away. The simple touch was enough, a quiet promise, a shared understanding of what they were beginning to feel. "I like being here with you," Mara said softly. "Not just the pool, not just the fish, but this moment, and you." Liam smiled, feeling a warmth spread through him. "Me too. I don't want this to end." The two of them stayed there, side by side, as the sun sank lower. The water beneath the glass glowed faintly in the evening light, and the fish continued their quiet movements, unaware of the bond forming above them. Liam felt a sense of peace he hadn't known in a long time. Mara's presence, her voice, her smile, they made the world feel brighter, calmer, and full of possibility. As the first stars began to appear in the sky, Liam spoke again, his voice steady but full of emotion. "Mara, I want to keep discovering moments like this with you. I don't know where it will lead, but I want to try. Together." Mara's smile deepened, and she gently squeezed his hand. "I want that too, Liam. We'll take it one day at a time. But I'm glad we started this, here, together." They stayed there for a while longer, watching the last colors of the sunset fade, feeling a quiet connection that neither of them had expected but both knew was real. The glass-bottom pool shimmered below, a perfect reflection of their first true emotional bond, a place where curiosity, admiration, and care had blossomed into something more. For Liam, it was the beginning of a journey not just through the wonders of the pool, but through a growing connection with Mara, one that promised discovery, trust, and the quiet thrill of shared passion. The next morning, Liam woke with a sense of quiet excitement. Today would be another day by the glass-bottom pool, and he knew Mara would be there. The thought of spending time with her filled him with energy he hadn't felt in months. He dressed quickly, eager to see her, and made his way to the poolside. Mara was already there, kneeling by the edge and scribbling in her notebook. She looked up and smiled when she saw him approaching. "Good morning, Liam," she said warmly. "I have a new area to show you today. Some of the coral formations have changed overnight, and a few unusual fish appeared. You'll like it?" "I can't wait," Liam replied, feeling a rush of anticipation. He set his bag down and leaned over the pool, gazing at the vibrant life beneath the glass. The fish swam gracefully through the colorful coral, and small crabs scuttled along the sandy bottom. Liam had spent hours here already, yet every day felt new. Mara motioned toward a narrow channel of coral near the center. "Look here. These formations create little hiding spots for the smaller fish. They move differently when predators are nearby, and sometimes you can see patterns no one notices at first." Liam leaned closer, his eyes scanning the area carefully. "I see it," he said, pointing out a tiny orange fish darting between the rocks. "It's quick, almost like it's playing a game." Mara nodded, smiling. "Yes, exactly. That's why I love observing them. There's always something unexpected. And sometimes, the smaller moments are the most important." They spent the morning moving around the pool, pointing out tiny creatures, observing patterns, and laughing when a curious fish swam too close to the glass. Liam found himself enjoying Mara's company more than he had expected. He liked the way she explained things so simply yet with enthusiasm, and the way her eyes lit up whenever she spotted something interesting. At one point, Liam spotted a small group of translucent fish weaving in and out of a coral cluster. He leaned over and tapped lightly on the glass to get Mara's attention. "Look at these," he said. "I've never seen anything like them." Mara knelt beside him, her hair falling softly around her face. "They're fascinating," she said quietly. "See how they move together, almost as if they understand each other? It's beautiful." Liam watched her for a moment, feeling a warmth in his chest. "It is beautiful," he said softly, "but so are you." He immediately realized he had said it aloud and glanced at her, unsure how she would react. Mara's cheeks tinged slightly pink, and a small smile appeared on her lips. "Thank you, Liam," she said gently. "That's very kind." She looked down at the pool, and for a few moments neither of them spoke, letting the quiet energy of the pool surround them. Later, they decided to take a break and sit near the pool's edge, dangling their feet in the water. Liam shared stories about his engineering projects, and Mara talked about her previous research and travels. They laughed at small mishaps and celebrated little successes, feeling a growing bond that went beyond curiosity or admiration. "You know," Mara said thoughtfully, watching a school of small fish swim beneath them, "spending time with someone who notices details the way you do, it makes everything feel more meaningful. You notice things I might miss, and it makes me see the world differently." Liam smiled. "And you make me appreciate the small things, Mara. Watching the pool today, seeing the fish. I never thought something so simple could feel so important. I guess that's the way it is when you share it with the right person." She looked at him, her eyes softening. "I feel the same way. I like having you here, not just for the pool, but for this. For us." The sunlight shifted across the water, sparkling and reflecting off the glass bottom floor, creating a quiet, magical atmosphere. Liam felt a sense of peace he hadn't known before. He realized that this connection with Mara was growing stronger with every shared moment, every laugh, every glance, and even the quiet silences. As the afternoon sun dipped lower, Liam and Mara remained by the pool, talking, observing, and enjoying the simple joy of each other's presence. The pool was no longer just a place to observe marine life, it had become a place where trust, admiration, and affection flourished. Liam felt certain that their bond was moving beyond friendship, rooted in shared experiences, mutual respect, and the quiet thrill of discovering life together. By the time they left the pool for the day, both felt a sense of contentment. The bond they were forming felt natural, unforced, and full of promise. Liam walked beside Mara along the path back to the lounge, knowing that every moment spent together was building towards something extraordinary, something that might change both of their lives forever. That evening, the sky darkened with thick clouds, and a sudden storm rolled in over the ocean. The wind picked up, causing the palm trees around the resort to sway and rustle. Liam had just reached the glass-bottom pool when Mara appeared, her hair slightly damp from the gusty breeze. "Looks like we're stuck here," she said with a small laugh, pointing toward the clouds. "I guess we'll have to wait for the storm to pass." Liam smiled. "I don't mind," he replied. "It might be nice, quiet and safe, just the two of us." They decided to stay near the indoor lounge overlooking the pool, a cozy place with large windows and soft lighting. Outside, the rain began to pour, hitting the roof and windows in a steady rhythm. Inside, the air was warm, filled with the scent of fresh coffee and the faint smell of wet flowers carried in by the wind. Liam and Mara sat side by side on a comfortable bench, their shoulders brushing slightly. "I never expected a storm," Mara said softly, watching the water ripple under the glass floor. "But somehow, it feels right. Calm, even though it's loud outside." Liam nodded. "Yes. It's strange how storms can feel peaceful when you're not alone. Especially with someone you trust." He hesitated, searching her eyes for a reaction, then added, "I trust you, Mara. More than I expected to." Mara smiled, her eyes gentle. "I trust you too, Liam. Being with you, it feels natural. Like we understand each other without words sometimes." The storm raged outside, but inside, time seemed to slow. Liam and Mara shared stories about their lives, their childhoods, and the experiences that had shaped them. Liam spoke about the long hours in his engineering workshop, the challenges of designing machines that could withstand the elements, and the quiet satisfaction of seeing a project succeed. Mara shared memories of studying marine life, the excitement of discovering something new, and the patience it required to observe creatures that moved at their own pace. As they talked, Liam noticed how Mara's eyes lit up when she described her discoveries. There was a fire in her passion, a dedication that fascinated him. He realized that it wasn't just the pool or the marine life that drew him in, it was her energy, and her way of seeing the world. At one point, the rain tapped harder against the windows, and the wind made the glass-bottom pool ripple with tiny waves. Liam reached over and gently touched Mara's hand. She looked at him, a soft smile spreading across her face. "You're here," she said quietly, "and that's all that matters." Liam squeezed her hand in return. "Yes," he said softly. "Being here with you, it feels like nothing else matters either." For a few minutes, they sat in silence, watching the storm play out across the sky. The pool below shimmered under the soft lights, reflecting the movement of the water outside and creating a magical effect that made the world seem smaller and more intimate. Liam felt a connection so strong it was almost tangible, a quiet energy flowing between them. Mara broke the silence, her voice low but warm. "I'm glad this storm happened. It gave us this moment just to be ourselves, without distractions. I think it brought us closer." Liam nodded, feeling the truth of her words. It did. And I want more moments like this with you. Calm or stormy, it doesn't matter. As long as we're together. She smiled, her eyes reflecting the light of the pool below. I want that too, Liam. We can face storms together, and still find peace. As the storm began to slow, the first stars appeared in the sky. Liam and Mara stood together near the edge of the glass-bottom pool, looking down at the shimmering water. The fish swam lazily beneath them, almost as if they understood the quiet bond forming above. Liam realized that this pool, once just a place of observation, had become a witness to their trust, understanding, and growing affection. He turned to Mara, his voice steady but filled with warmth. Mara, I want to keep discovering life with you, not just here, but everywhere. I feel like this is the start of something important. Mara reached for his hand and held it firmly. It is important, Liam. And yes, I want to discover it with you. Together, they stood in silence, feeling the calm after the storm, and watching the pool beneath them sparkle. In that quiet moment, Liam knew that their connection had grown deeper, strengthened by shared trust, patience, and the simple beauty of being together. The morning sun rose slowly over the resort, casting golden light across the glass-bottom pool. Liam and Mara stood at the edge, side by side, feeling the warmth of the day and the gentle breeze brushing against their faces. Today was their last day at the resort, and a quiet sense of anticipation and reflection filled the air. Liam looked down into the pool, watching the tiny fish swim among the coral. The water shimmered like a living mosaic, reflecting the sunlight in sparkling patterns. He realized that this pool had been more than just a place to observe marine life, it had been the backdrop to something far more important. It had been where he had met Mara, where they had laughed, shared stories, faced small challenges, and discovered a connection neither had expected. Mara followed his gaze, her eyes soft and thoughtful. It's beautiful, she said quietly. But I think the best part isn't the pool or the fish. It's everything we've shared here. Every moment, every small discovery, every laugh, it's made this place unforgettable. Liam turned to her, feeling his heart swell. I couldn't agree more, he said. I came here for a short vacation, to take a break from work, and instead, I found something I didn't even know I was looking for. I found you. Mara smiled, her hand reaching for his. And I found you too, Liam. Someone who understands me, someone who sees the world the way I do, and who also makes it better. They stood together, hands intertwined, watching the sunlight move across the pool and illuminate the underwater world. The tiny fish darted among the coral, oblivious to the humans above, yet somehow part of the same shared moment. Liam realized that life, like the pool, was full of layers, some visible, some hidden, and all connected in ways one could only discover by paying attention and being patient. I don't want this to end, Liam admitted softly, squeezing Mara's hand. I don't want us to leave this place and forget everything we've shared. Mara shook her head gently, a reassuring smile on her lips. We won't forget, Liam. This isn't the end. It's just the beginning. The pool, the fish, the resort, it brought us together, but our journey doesn't have to stay here. We can take it with us, wherever we go. He nodded, feeling a sense of hope and determination. You're right. And I want to take that journey with you. Not just for a short time, but, for as long as we can. I want to discover life with you, everything, together. Mara's eyes glimmered with emotion. I want that too. I can't imagine sharing it with anyone else. For a few moments, they simply stood together, letting the quiet beauty of the pool and the shimmering water reflect the connection between them. Liam realized that the excitement he had first felt when seeing the glass-bottom pool was nothing compared to the joy of sharing it with Mara. Every glance, every word, every shared smile had built a foundation of trust and affection that felt strong and unshakable. Finally, Liam took a deep breath and spoke again. "Mara, I don't know what the future holds, but I do know this: I want to keep exploring it with you. I want to face challenges, celebrate discoveries, and enjoy every moment, together." Mara smiled brightly, squeezing his hand. "Then let's do it, Liam. Let's take this journey together, no matter where it leads. We've already started something special, and I want to see where it goes." They stood for a few more minutes, watching the sunlight dance on the pool, feeling the gentle breeze, and letting the quiet of the morning fill them with peace. Liam realized that the pool had been a gift not just for its beauty, but for the connection it had allowed to grow between them. It had been a place of discovery, laughter, trust, and now, love. As they turned to leave the pool for the last time, Liam looked at Mara and smiled. "Ready for the next adventure?" he asked. "Always," Mara replied, her eyes shining with excitement and warmth. Hand in hand, they walked along the sunlit path, leaving the glass-bottom pool behind, but carrying its lessons and memories with them. The pool had been where their story began, but it was only the first chapter. Together, they would continue to explore the world, to face challenges, and to celebrate the beauty of life, always side by side. And as the sunlight shimmered on the water one last time, it reflected not just the ocean below, but the spark of a love that had grown quietly, patiently, and beautifully, one that promised a future full of discovery, joy, and shared passion.